Welcome to the Two Rando podcast, everyone. I'm Chris Crimson.
And I'm Nix. If you're new around here, we'd love it if you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future deep dives.
Absolutely. We really appreciate you joining our conversation. And a big thank you to our sponsors over on YouTube, Chris, the Plant-Based, and Emma Advanced.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Your support makes these explorations possible.
It really does.
Today, you, the learner, have brought some really interesting material to the table, all focused on the connection between a vegan diet and lifestyle and managing stress.
Stress, yeah. Something we all deal with.
Exactly. So our goal is to sift through these sources and pull out the most insightful and, useful nuggets for you.
Okay, let's dive right in then. The information you shared paints stress as this pretty universal experience, right? It touches all of us.
Pretty much everyone, yeah.
And the sources highlight how it can ripple through our bodies and minds, causing everything from anxiety and tension to even messing with our immune system. It seems there's a real buzz around finding more holistic ways to cope. And a vegan diet, with its emphasis on whole plant-based foods, is being looked at as a potentially powerful tool.
What's fascinating here is that fundamental idea that what we put into our bodies could directly impact how we handle pressure,
Right.
The sources you provided point to a trend. People who lean heavily on fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes often report feeling less stressed.
That's what I just stated.
And some studies even suggest that those following vegan diets might experience lower levels of stress and anxiety compared to omnivores.
Okay, I was really struck by this next point in the material, how specific nutrients within vegan foods might act as, stress busters. Let's start with magnesium.
Magnesium, yeah.
This mineral, which pops up in a ton of delicious vegan staples like Swiss chard, almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, all sorts of legumes, whole grains, tofu, kale, spinach, oats, avocados, bananas, and even dark chocolate. Who knew, right?
Dark chocolate, always good news.
Definitely. It seems to be a major player in keeping our stress response in check by influencing those stress hormones floating around in our brains. Apparently not getting enough is linked to feeling more stressed and anxious.
Right.
While sufficient amounts might actually dial those feelings down, it's even nicknamed the relaxation mineral.
The relaxation mineral.
Because it helps regulate cortisol, ease those tension headaches and fatigue, improve sleep, and relax our muscles. So the key takeaway here for you, the learner, is that loading up on magnesium-rich vegan foods is a direct and pretty delicious way to dial down your body's stress response.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, a well-rounded vegan diet seems to naturally supply a good amount of this crucial mineral. The sources also drew attention to the role of chronic inflammation.
Inflammation, yeah.
In conditions like depression, and how stress itself can be a trigger for inflammation.
Right, that vicious cycle.
Totally. This is where antioxidant-rich, anti-inflammatory foods become so important. Think of those vibrant, colorful options: berries, sweet potatoes.
Love sweet potatoes.
But also dark leafy greens, tomatoes, almonds, walnuts, oranges, and extra virgin olive oil. These plant-based compounds are associated with lower levels of inflammatory markers, which could offer a protective shield against the negative effects of stress.
It's almost like these plant-based foods are actively working to counter the stress in our systems. Another really interesting angle in the material is about green tea.
Green tea.
It contains this amino acid called L-Theanine.
L-Theanine, yeah.
Which has been linked to improved mood, sharper thinking, and reduced stress and anxiety. Now, green tea does have caffeine, which you might think could ramp up stress.
Yeah, that's the catch sometimes.
But it seems the L-Theanine helps to balance that out. Apparently, matcha and oolong tea are particularly packed with L-Theanine.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
And it's thought to work by potentially boosting dopamine levels in the brain, which creates that sense of calm we're all after.
This raises a really important question for you, the learner, especially if you're not a huge tea fan. Are there other options?
Good point.
The sources mention chamomile tea as a go-to traditional remedy for soothing nerves and promoting sleep.
Chamomile, classic.
Right. And this is thanks to flavonoids like apigenin. Apigenin is a type of plant-based antioxidant, and it's these kinds of compounds that contribute to chamomile's calming effects.
Okay, so it's the flavonoids.
Yeah. But it's not just about the direct power of nutrients. The gut-brain connection is another fascinating piece of this puzzle.
The gut microbiome. Always pops up.
It really does. Prebiotic-rich foods like cooked and cooled potatoes, oats, rice, legumes, slightly green bananas, asparagus, chicory root, onions, garlic, and various fruits all help to nourish a healthy gut microbiome.
So, feeding the good bugs.
Exactly, and this connection is a two-way street. The bacteria in our gut produce substances that can actually send signals to our brain, influencing our mood and stress levels. So prebiotic foods help cultivate those beneficial gut bacteria, which in turn is linked to better mental health, including less anxiety and depression.
Okay, this next bit I found particularly fascinating. Fats, specifically omega-3 fatty acids.
Omega-3s, yes, very important.
They're essential for energy, brain development, and taming inflammation. But what's really interesting for our conversation today is how they can actually help us combat stress by reducing those surges of stress hormones and potentially even easing the effects of depression. Now, a lot of people immediately think of fish when omega-3s come up,
Right, that's the common association.
but the vegan world has some great alternatives like flaxseed oil, soybean oil, flax seeds themselves, pistachios, walnuts, edamame, pinto, and kidney beans, and even leafy greens and algae.
Algae, yeah, a direct source of DHA and EPA sometimes.
It's amazing how many pathways a vegan diet offers.
What's fascinating here is exactly that how many different types of vegan foods contribute to stress management through these diverse biological mechanisms. The sources also highlight the importance of complex carbohydrates.
Carbs. Not the enemy, then.
Not the complex ones, no. Found in whole grains, legumes, and vegetables. These help to boost the production of serotonin, that feel-good neurotransmitter.
Serotonin, nice.
And they also help to keep our blood pressure and blood sugar levels stable. This provides a more consistent energy supply, which is absolutely crucial when you're dealing with stress.
Okay, that makes sense. Avoid the crashes.
Exactly. Think about things like whole wheat flour, quinoa, lentils, beans, and a wide array of fruits and vegetables. These aren't just fuel, they're mood regulators too.
And it doesn't stop there. There's this phytochemical called quercetin,
Quercetin, okay.
found in foods like apples, kale, berries, grapes, onion, and green tea that might have some anti-anxiety and antidepressant effects. Phytochemicals are, naturally occurring compounds in plants that can have various beneficial effects on the body.
Right, like antioxidants.
Kind of. Quercetin seems to work by inhibiting an enzyme that breaks down mood-regulating neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine,
Oh, interesting mechanism.
leading to higher levels of these in the brain. It's like these plant compounds are actively helping to lift our spirits.
If we connect this all to the bigger picture for you, the learner, it really seems like a plant-based approach covers a lot of ground when it comes to supporting your mental well-being through nutrition.
Definitely seems that way.
Finally, the sources mention tryptophan, which is an essential amino acid, meaning our bodies can't produce it on their own. We need to get it from food.
Ah, the precursor to serotonin, right.
Exactly. Our brains use tryptophan to make serotonin. You can find it in leafy greens, sunflower seeds, watercress, soybeans, pumpkin seeds, mushrooms, broccoli, and peas. So a diverse vegan diet can really help ensure you're getting enough of this fundamental building block for a happier mood.
So bringing it all together, what does this mean for you, the learner? It looks like a well-planned vegan diet provides a really impressive range of nutrients that can support your body's ability to manage stress,
Yeah, a whole toolkit.
from helping to regulate those stress hormones and reducing inflammation to boosting your mood and supporting a healthy gut.
And this is but it's crucial to remember that it's not just about what you do eat. The sources also touch on things to be mindful of avoiding.
Right, the pitfalls.
For example, a high intake of refined sugars, which are often lurking in processed vegan snacks, can cause rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar levels.
The sugar crash, awful.
Totally. This can lead to irritability and actually increase feelings of stress. It can even trigger the release of more stress hormones, which is the opposite of what we're aiming for.
Exactly. So just because something is labeled vegan doesn't automatically make it a stress-busting superfood.
Not at all.
Processed vegan foods, things like some meat substitutes and those sugary snacks, can be high in sodium, unhealthy fats, and various additives that might promote inflammation and negatively impact our mood.
There's even some research suggesting a link between processed meat substitutes and a higher risk of depression and inflammation in vegetarians, which includes vegans.
Wow. So it really matters which vegan foods.
Absolutely. It's a reminder to look beyond the label and focus on whole foods as much as possible.
Makes sense.
Another really important point to consider is caffeine. While we talked about the potential benefits of green tea thanks to its L-Theanine content,
Right, the balancing act.
Too much caffeine from sources like coffee, energy drinks, and some other teas can overstimulate your nervous system, leading to those familiar jitters and potentially worsening anxiety.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that coffee anxiety
Yeah.
sometimes.
It can also elevate stress hormone levels and disrupt your sleep patterns, and getting good quality sleep is absolutely foundational for managing stress effectively.
Sleep is key, always.
Always. And finally, the sources emphasize that a poorly planned vegan diet could actually contribute to stress and anxiety if it leads to deficiencies in key nutrients.
Okay, what should people look out for?
Things like vitamin B12, omega-3s, particularly EPA and DHA, which are harder to get from plants, iron, zinc, and vitamin D. These are all really important for maintaining good mental health.
Right.
And if you're following a vegan diet, it's vital to be mindful of getting enough of them through careful food combinations or supplementation when necessary.
So planning is essential, not just cutting things out.
Precisely. Stepping outside of diet for a moment, the material you shared also explores other incredibly powerful stress relief methods, with meditation being a key one.
Meditation, yeah. Heard a lot about its benefits.
It's been practiced for centuries to foster relaxation and mental well-being, offering a sense of inner calm and balance. Regular meditation can really help you shift your perspective on those things that trigger your stress, build better coping mechanisms, increase your self-awareness, and reduce negative thought patterns.
And it has physical benefits too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It can even have tangible physical benefits like lowering your heart rate and blood pressure and improving the quality of your sleep.
This is where it gets really interesting, the sheer variety of meditation styles.
Mm.
The sources mention mindfulness meditation, which is all about focusing on the present moment without judgment.
Just noticing thoughts, yeah.
Guided meditation, often using visualization techniques. Mantra meditation, involving the repetition of specific words or sounds. Breath awareness meditation. Loving kindness meditation, which cultivates feelings of compassion. Body scan meditation. Transcendental meditation, which uses specific mantras. Yoga, which beautifully combines movement, breath, and meditation. Even walking meditation. And progressive muscle relaxation.
Wow, lots of options.
It really sounds like there's a style out there to suit just about anyone's preferences.
Absolutely. And then there's exercise and pretty much any form you enjoy, which is also highlighted as a fantastic way to release stress.
Yeah, moving.
Yeah. Physical activity gives a natural boost to those feel-good endorphins and provides a welcome distraction from your worries. It can also counteract some of the negative physical effects of stress, like a racing heart and high blood pressure.
Right, works off the adrenaline.
And it's a great way to improve both your mood and your sleep. Even short bursts of activity throughout the day can make a difference.
Okay, so what kind of exercise are we talking about?
The sources point to aerobic exercises like walking, jogging, swimming, and dancing, as well as practices like yoga and Tai Chi, strength training, mindful walking where you really tune into your surroundings.
Oh, mindful walking, I like that.
And even just spending time in nature while being active. High-intensity interval training, HIIT, is also mentioned as something that might be particularly helpful for managing anxiety.
Interesting. So find something you like, basically.
Exactly. The key takeaway seems to be finding activities that you genuinely enjoy and making them a regular part of your routine.
Right, consistency over intensity, maybe?
Often, yes. If we connect this all up for you, the learner, it becomes really clear that managing stress effectively often involves a holistic approach, looking at what we eat and how we move both our bodies and our minds.
Makes total sense. They're not separate things.
Not at all. The sources also briefly touch on a range of other helpful techniques, like yoga itself as a practice, specific deep breathing exercises, intentionally spending time in nature, engaging in hobbies that bring you joy.
Hobbies, yeah, important escape.
The power of laughter, connecting with the people you care about, journaling your thoughts and feelings, prioritizing getting enough quality sleep, we mentioned that one,
Can't stress sleep enough.
and generally maintaining a healthy lifestyle that supports your overall well-being.
It's a whole package deal.
It really is. Finally, the material acknowledges that, let's face it, some stressful situations in life are simply unavoidable.
Yeah, you can't bubble wrap yourself.
Exactly. That's where having strategies to manage stress in the moment becomes so important. This includes developing your own personal coping mechanisms, like engaging in self-care activities, reaching out to supportive people in your life, setting healthy boundaries,
Boundaries are huge.
and learning to challenge negative thought patterns as they arise.
Okay, practical in-the-moment stuff.
Yeah, and when you're in the thick of a stressful moment, Mindfulness techniques like focus deep breathing exercises and grounding exercises that help you connect with your senses can be incredibly helpful for immediate relief.
Grounding, like noticing what you see, hear, smell.
Exactly, bringing you back to the present. Sometimes just taking a short break and changing your immediate environment can provide a temporary but valuable reset.
Step outside for a minute.
Right. And when the stress stems from a specific problem, the sources suggest using structured problem-solving approaches, clearly identifying the issue, brainstorming potential solutions, carefully evaluating those options, and then taking action on the most promising ones.
Okay, breaking it down makes it less overwhelming.
Precisely.
So for you, the learner, what does all of this mean? It appears that a thoughtful and informed approach to a vegan lifestyle, one that prioritizes whole, unprocessed plant foods, rich in these specific stress-regulating nutrients, when combined with stress-reducing practices like meditation and regular exercise, can create a really powerful and comprehensive toolkit for navigating the stresses of modern life.
What's so compelling here is how interconnected everything is, the profound way our dietary choices can influence our mental and emotional state, and how incorporating mindful lifestyle practices can further bolster our overall well-being and resilience to stress.
It really is all connected.
This raises an important question for you to consider as you go about your day. What's one small, manageable change, either in your diet by incorporating more of these nutrient-rich vegan foods, or in your daily routine by trying a short meditation or a few minutes of movement that you could experiment with to see how it might positively impact your own stress levels?
Just one small thing. Good challenge. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today, The Learner. We really hope this exploration has provided you with some valuable insights and maybe even a few of those aha moments we all love.
You want to thank all of you for listening to the Rando podcast. If you found this deep dive helpful, please do subscribe so you don't miss our future explorations into fascinating topics.
And a final thank you once again to our wonderful sponsors on YouTube, Chris, The Plant-Based, and Emma Advanced. We truly appreciate your support.
Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and we wish you all the very best in managing those daily stresses. Goodbye for now.
Take care.